Hey, hey, hey. We are live. All right, it looks like I'm live on IG and live on YouTube as well. Last week, I thought I was live on YouTube, and the whole time I was live on my Facebook. So there we go. I'm going ahead and getting in the mood energy here, setting the tone for my sacred space for ambiance by lighting a little Palo Santo, one of my favorites. Get a new match so I don't burn up myself or fingers here on the live stream or off live stream either. But I just have a holistic transmission, a galactic transmission that I'm going to share with you and myself because, hey, my YouTube family, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Just lighting a little Palo Santo, setting the creative, organic tone for my live stream today. Today I'm gonna I wanted to make everybody aware of some more nuanced, less maybe potentially obvious things that are developing in our world realm. If you're on Instagram, I have a little quote behind me. It says, "We all live in the same world, but we don't live in the same frequency." So I want to talk about that first and foremost. When I do these little galactic transmissions, peace to the YouTube family, peace to Outer Shell Alchemy over on IG. Welcome. I want to talk about a few things. First, I'm going to talk about some obvious stuff. If you're in the United States where I am, and maybe even in Canada, but more like the East Coast. What's up, Keisha? Blaze it up. We're experiencing a supposed gas shortage on fuel. Uh-oh. Having some people calling me. I hope I'm still live on IG. And I want to talk about what that means. If we look through the galactic, if we look through our womb lens, the lens of the womb-niverse, and, we're not really, that's what we're always called to do anyway, as the divine feminine, as, divine goddesses, women that are in touch with our, womb energy, chakras balanced and in alignment, spirit first, flesh second. There would be a looming misconception that, hey, Queen, thanks for joining me. They want us to believe that there is a scarcity or not an abundant supply. And that's the first thing that I just wanted to open up with. Back to what's behind me. We live in the same world, but we don't all live at the same frequency. What's up, SJ? Welcome. Of course, there is an abundant supply of everything for us. There's just powers that be and factions that are warring behind the scenes that are having a time and always manipulating our energies and trying to co-opt where we focus our attention. And so I want to remind everybody, especially women that are following me, the majority of everybody that follows me is because on really all my accounts is because they are shrinking uterine fibroids naturally. They want to heal their wombs naturally. That's what this platform is about. So I want to call all my goddesses who are serious about living holistically, serious about shrinking fibroids and having balanced health. And even if you're not a goddess, if you're a gentleman and you have, a need to reverse sickness and disease, we have to not be moved by what things look like on the outside. So know that you have everything you need on the inside of you, and that there's a plentiful amount of resources and energy. It's not really scarce. It's just an illusion. So at this time, a lot of my friends, followers, and women that are in my private group are, feeling a little uneasy and like not supported. The last 2 weeks, we've been dealing with a lot of women having issues with heavy bleeding, horrible menstrual cycles. If it wasn't from the jab and that kind of thing, it's from the anxiety that has been permeating the media that we're all facing with potential viral shedding from that. Now, this week, it's something else. It's there's a shortage of gas if you're where I'm at on the East Coast or anywhere in the line where they're saying this pipeline has been infiltrated and hacked and whatnot. But I'm just asking everybody to be still and to go within, do a little meditation, because if you take time to pull your attention away from the news, take back control of what we're focusing on, take a few deep breaths, that's when you really can start to see that, there's different timelines and frequencies happening. And depending on what we allow to take our attention and allow ourselves to be moved by is what we will end up living out right now. There's a lot of talk about time and timelines right now, and it seems really weird and like crazy as far as it seems kind of mystical. But when we're talking about frequency and vibration, when we're talking about accessing womb healing, something that a lot of people say is impossible. They've told me it was impossible. If you know my story, I was laughed at the doctor's appointment when I was diagnosed with, uterine fibroids so many years ago and told that I had to do a certain ridiculous processed food diet of these boxed pre-made meals in order to shrink fibroids. And I chose to not believe what was being communicated to me and say to myself, this doesn't apply to me. Like, this timeline that is being presented to me is not my timeline, right? This frequency that you're trying to get me to. So that's what I'm saying here with we all live in the same world, but we don't live at the same frequency. Take note of that, because I literally changed my trajectory by not believing what was told to me by the medical professionals. And I have a lot of respect for people in the medical industry, but when we're talking about doing something big like quantum healing, causing something like solid and to actually change form without doing surgery, which is what I did, you have to realize and you have to know that your mindset is everything. And that's what you're going to hear me talk about a lot. Yes, I ate plant-based. Yes, I used herbs, which I'm going to talk a little bit about as well, because our approach with herbs as far as natural fibroid elimination is not calibrated right if you think that everybody can take the same herbs and that's how it works, because that's not how it works. It gets a little bit more specific. But know that we are raising, the earth has actually shifted into higher frequencies. And it may look like you're in the same realm, time, world that you were in yesterday, but there's a lot of pronounced expansion. A lot of people in these times are tapping into the cryptocurrency market. A lot of people that I know are really successful in real estate investing. I'm kind of a more beginner real estate investor. That's another business that I operate. But I see it all the time. A lot of different people going into new timelines and changing their entire lives in a very short amount of time. And that is the same, that same ability is available if you're looking to heal your womb. If you're looking to do something as miraculous as reshape, mold, cut, shrink a physical mass like a fibroid tumor in your womb, you have to know that you can definitely do that, but you have to expand your mind and expand your view of the world that we're in and what is available to you. Know that it's more than just the flesh. Know that you are more than just a human person having an experience. Know that you are also a multi a member of the collective consciousness and multidimensional being. So you have a physical body, you have a spiritual body, and if you're my private membership group, I'm talking about that now. What's up, Jenny? Hey, goddess. I'm laying the foundation to help you start to overstand and understand how to view yourself as a multidimensional being. Because when you do that, that's when you can trump, no pun intended, definitely, or that's not even the good word. That's when you can start to defy odds. That's when miracles start to happen. That's where you pull out a non-physical tool to start seeing fibroids shrink in size. I have a comment on my YouTube. What's up, Nat? Nat says, thank you for this live. It is my pleasure, goddess. Let me know if you have any specific questions. That's what I'm here for. Thank you for joining me, YouTube family. What's up? Trouble Girl, Stina Renee. What's up, goddess? So yeah, you really want to start thinking of yourself as possessing a whole lot more powers than we have been led to believe that we have. And maybe you already know this. But it really is in the area of everything we do that has to do with nourishing ourselves and our body. And you already know that's going to have to do with what? Your plant kingdom. Anything of the earth, the elements, right? Your herbs, your crystals, your minerals, your spices, which are also minerals. All those things are what we talk about that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about altering the state of our physical existence. You want to make some headway with that, right? But we can also alter ourselves physically in a good way, as well as a bad way, depending on what you focus on, by controlling what we focus our attention on and what we put our energy into, and also recognizing that your energy, your frequency, and your vibration is everything. And it actually is even more so powerful than a report from any doctor. The physical thing that you may be seeing about yourself in your face, because remember, flashback to when I was diagnosed with fibroids, I was told, yours are too big to shrink. Now, there was a split second when I was told that, I was like, oh, well, that sucks. I guess I have to have surgery, right? But it was a split second because I'm like, there's no way that these fibroids are too big to shrink. Because I knew a little bit about changing realities, which is what I'm talking about today as far as frequencies, right? We all live in the same world, but we don't live in the same frequency, right? Now, somebody else, and I totally understand that and understand someone else who may not have had that foundation of knowing how to look at yourself and look at our health and look at our experience in this realm would have accepted that potentially and just said, fine, schedule me for the surgery. I don't know about anything else, so I just have to do it. But I'm telling you this because I didn't even have anybody like me talking to myself back then, right? That's when I was on that timeline. And at that time, I had a chance to stay and go further on that timeline. And that would have been me signing up for surgery. And then, by the way, she told me, do you want children? I said, yes. So she said, well, you need to get ready to hurry up and have children because you're going to need to have the surgery and immediately get pregnant because it's going to accelerate you into menopause. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm not doing anything to further go into a direction that I never thought was going to be my reality. So I decided that I was going to try nature, try the creator, try what I know the Most High put here for us in relation to any sickness, any disease, right? So that's what I did. But that's an example of changing timelines, changing my frequency. So in that moment, I could have stayed on that timeline and had the surgery and went on down there and been fine, whatever. That would have been my reality. My reality would have been that I had had that surgical operation, and who knows what my, situation with my womb would have been as far as fertility. By the way, I was single at the time. So who knows if I would have even had time to meet somebody and have children in time to do that. But I want to emphasize that I changed timelines. I walked out of that. I paid my bill after she laughed at me because they did make fun of me, her and the secretary. I walked out of the doctor's office feeling scared, feeling fearful, feeling like I failed myself because I let myself get to a point where I had tumors in my womb. And I'm like, wow, like, whoa, that's really serious. I'd never had any serious problems like that before. And I thought I ate pretty healthy. But I also had this little tiny spark of hope saying, well, you do, and you have been all your life reading and had this draw to holistic knowledge, you know? So maybe you can find something. Maybe that's just what she knows. Maybe there's something else. By that maybe and that little bit of hope and following that tiny spark, I changed my trajectory. I changed my reality. Peace, lovingly, Nat. Peace. Peace, lovingly, Nat. So that's what I'm saying. It sounds mystical. It sounds all like, you know, magical. But when you start operating in other conversations or other categories like frequency and vibration, as opposed to just operating in the mundane, the everyday, I get up and I'm going to exercise and I'm going to have bananas in a smoothie and I'm going to, you know, have salmon that's organic because I know that's better and it's, you know, better to have that than farm-raised salmon for fibroids. When you start marrying those healthy choices in your physical life with expanding your concept of what it means to be in this realm right now, who you are, your knowledge of self. Yes, knowledge of self, especially for my so-called Black women, melanated goddesses is crucial and critical on different levels, but also knowledge of self as a multi-dimensional being that has all of these powers when we start talking about the quantum healing, you know, which relates to quantum physics, which is where we start talking about metaphysics. That's where you start operating in your goddess energy. That's where you start talking about womb power. That's where you can start to see major headway happen that people will describe as miraculous. Like, oh my God, you said you had fibroids. Because once I got rid of the fibroids, because the people that I was working with at the time, all they knew was I would have to run to the bathroom a lot. The women knew because they knew I had fibroids. The men didn't know. They just knew I would have to run to the restroom a lot. And sometimes I'd have to run out of work early, but they didn't know that I was getting ready to have a bleeding accident, or it was to avoid embarrassing myself because I was going to flood out in the building that we all worked in. And that was like a 2-year window where I decided not to take the doctor's recommendation and believe in the power that I knew I had access to because I had read a little bit about that. I was raised Christian, but I've since expanded my knowledge of who I am and what we're doing here. So I don't fall under that label anymore because I realize now also that that's a label that was put on us by the powers that be. And that what we are and who we are predates any label, right? But 2 years later, those same people I worked with, I showed up to work one day and I was like, I'm fibroid free. And they were like, holy shit. They didn't even know that much about fibroids, but they knew that was a big deal, you know? And when it happened, even I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm looking at this fibroid, right? I'm looking at it, like almost holding it in my hand. The only reason I hadn't held the whole thing fully in my hand is because it was still attached to one artery. But what I'm saying that because the work that I had put in, mindset first, along with the diet, along with not believing somebody else's report about what was available to me, stretching myself energetically and stretching myself as a multidimensional person, a woman who was getting in touch with her goddess energy, balancing her divine feminine, right? I went into that. Yes, I made some mistakes. Peace Herbal Artist Network, Peace Shelly _1003. Educating myself and expanding myself in those areas is what started to reshape the fibroid and the arteries that was feeding that fibroid that was in my womb. And I did speak to the fibroid. I had 2 of them. I had one on my uterus and I had one hanging by, I had one connected to arteries, but when it fell out, it was connected to one artery. And the funny thing was, because I literally had to find a doctor who believed that that was happening to me, because a lot of the doctors I called said they didn't believe that was real, which is so ridiculous. But I had to drive outside of the city to find somebody who said she would help me, because it was literally hanging in the vaginal canal where you would put a tampon. So it needed to come out fast because it was making its way out, but I hadn't dissolved that last artery. So when she helped me by cutting it off with a scalpel in outpatient surgery with no anesthetic, she said, take one deep breath right before she made that last cut, because it was going to be a pretty painful cut. And it was, because I screamed so loud I could hear myself screaming. No anesthetic. She said, I'm just trying to help this little guy that was trying to make its way out of your body. I'm just trying to help this little guy out. So it was already, it was moving out, like I was running it out of my womb. And some women that I've done some research on, peace to the YouTube family for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about how to shrink fibroids naturally. Some of the women that have also gotten rid of fibroids naturally, they will have dissolved all of the arteries and all of the veins, and the fibroid will fall completely out, and they could be in public, they could be out at work, you could be, at Walmart. And some of the luckier ones, which is what I was praying that this would happen to me, is that just as I had begun to dissolve those arteries and the veins, that the fibroid would also shrink in size, which is what the one I was getting, the one that fell out was the size of a golf ball. Now, when I had, at the largest, I was told they were the size of grapefruits. So, and I knew that I was shrinking them. I just didn't know when they were going to completely disappear. But in my heart of hearts, and what I really wanted was for them to completely dissolve and to be eliminated through my body's waste channels, because that's what's happening when we talk about shrinking fibroids naturally. You are doing all the things that you need to be doing to help your body eliminate from all the proper channels of elimination. What are those? Your digestive through your bowel movements, sweating because you're doing your exercising. If you can't exercise enough, maybe try some visits to a sauna. You're speaking what's on your mind, right? You're not swallowing words. You're not people pleasing and not being in alignment and speaking your truth. You are comfortable with your physical, right? You are not living under a mask. Now that's another meaning with that nowadays, but another way is stuff like this, right? I wear extensions. I'm completely natural, right? But one of the big things that I think women of color can really benefit from, and that I benefited from, was making that transition to where when you don't have this in your hair, you can just wear your natural hair, right? You've seen me wear my natural afro, my natural curls. You got to be able to be 100% however you look and feel like you are just as good as when you have your extensions on, Not trying to condemn any of my goddesses who wear wigs. I used to wear wigs. I don't wear wigs anymore because I appreciate and I know the power of letting the sun hit my scalp, right? You're getting instant vitamin D in, and also your antenna need to be visible and out to receive transmissions from the earth, for my women of color or my women who wear wigs and weaves. But you have to be able to be comfortable and confident in your own skin, whatever that means to you. No judgment. I'm just throwing that out there for ways that you can think about making sure you're always in alignment. So what I was doing was supporting my body's, what's up, Black Market 707, natural waste channels. And I was hoping that eventually the fibroid would just get so small that it would eventually just be fully dissipated through the waste channels. That, in my opinion, is the most ideal way to get rid of fibroids. But I also said, well, I'm so sick of dealing with all these horrible symptoms that whatever way it comes, I will take it. And it came in the way I just described. And I had to go to a doctor, a really cool lady, and she helped me finish that last little incision. But I wanted to say that one of the biggest things that I did was activate my connection to my non-physical parts of myself. My mind, my connection to the power of the universe, the creator, the Most High, knowing that the Most High, the universe, the creator wants you in good, harmonious, perfect health at all times. But in this realm that we're in, there are always, hopefully not always, but there are and sometimes going to be hardships because there is warfare at any given time in any given form. It may even look harmless. It could even look just like kind of a little bothersome little annoyance. And for some, it's bigger and more diabolical. But for example, in our food supply with the GMO, that's a form of warfare, right? But you have to know that you can reshape, you can actually change your frequency by giving your body what it needs and also working on your mindset, right? Connecting with the quantum aspects of yourself and protecting yourself basically from any warfare that's happening. So that's what I want to put out there, because that's what I'm talking about when I say we live in the same world, but we don't all live on the same frequency. She Love Johnson, you said you want to know. She Love Joseph, excuse me. Can you pin the website for me? Yes, goddess. So I'll type the website right here on YouTube. It's Operation Fibroid Freedom. Anybody have any questions about shrinking fibroids naturally and how I did it? That's the website, goddess. Go there. You can find info out about my services. I offer one-on-one 90-day private coaching. I also have a group package that I just unrolled. I'm actually working with, I'm actually closing out the first edition of group fibroid coaching. It's a little more cost effective if budget is an issue. And I will probably be doing the next or my second offering of group coaching launching in mid-July. So if you're interested in that, just go to the website and you can see what you'll learn in group fibroid coaching and the price as well. And if you want to sign up, let me know and I'll give you an early bird incentive to sign up in advance. I also do a 1 hour where I can consult with you for an hour and help you with a specific area of natural fibroid elimination. I'm also an herbalist. So we can talk about you holistically, whatever you may be experiencing holistically or have as far as your past health history up until the present, as well as what's going on in your life to tailor an herbal protocol for you. That's available. I also am a womb Reiki energy healer, where we activate the universal love energy to shrink fibroids by checking your womb chakras to your body chakras and clearing out any negative energy and confusion from the womb. But we also go through it with you in that service. And we dialogue back and forth where I could kind of help you identify imbalances that I'm noticing and that also may be reflecting in outside areas of your life. All that can be booked on my website. Keisha says, if consistent, how long would it take to shrink? Everyone's different, Keisha. Now, I don't know if you heard my early part of my story. Me personally, with what I did, I started off, it took me 2 years. I didn't know what I was doing the first year. The first year, I was trying to figure out how to shrink fibroids. I was trying to figure out if I could find any information. I was doing more trial and error. I finally found things that started to show me that I was on the right track. And that's when I started to upgrade. I would say that happened about a year into trying. So it took me, after getting a system of tools together with herbs and supplements and the mindset and a lot of shadow work, a good year to get rid of fibroids. And plant-based eating is crucial. Now, I have an interview that I did maybe towards the end of last year with another goddess, Michelle Clark. It's on this Instagram. If y'all are on YouTube, you can go to my Instagram, my OP Fibroid Freedom on Instagram. I interviewed that goddess. Now I'm mentioning her in that interview because she got rid of fibroids in like 16 or 17 days, and she had more than I did. I fasting. So if you want fast, you got to think in terms of how hardcore are you willing to get? And when I say hardcore, I'll make it more specific for you. Everyone's reasons for why we develop fibroids are different, but they all lead to fibroids because they have caused an imbalance in the body, specifically in your hormones, fueling estrogen dominance. But we don't all have the same reasons for why our body manifests estrogen dominance and causes fibroids to grow. So you got to keep that in mind. Also, the type of fibroids you have and where they're located are going to determine how fast you're able to get rid of fibroids. I just told you the goddess I interviewed got rid of them in 16 days, but she water fasted. That's hardcore. Like, to me, that's one of the most hardcore things that you can do. Some people can dry fast, where they just fast. I don't know about that yet. If I did that, I would be telling you about that. What I did was I hacked my diet and immediately started realizing that what Cecily did to cause fibroids, right? So you got to figure out, Keisha, what Keisha did to cause estrogen dominance and feed fibroids in your body. What have you been doing? And that takes a little bit of exploration. You got to be real with yourself. You kind of got to go into the shadow work where you start uncovering and talking about things you may not want to address. You got to give those things attention, because you have to audit everything. You have to make lifestyle changes to fix all those areas. And in some cases, like with diet, you know, I had to stop eating meat. So I found a formula for how I would eat. So what I would do was I eliminated everything that was not plant-based for 21 days. And then I found herbs, supplements to nourish my body and my womb. But I'm an herbalist, right? So you said, are there specific supplements that contribute to shrinking? That's why you have to know, and you have to address yourself as a whole. Are there any other ailments that you suffer from? What other things are going in your body, mind, soul? Because that's how we talk about herbs that will be specifically in alignment for you. I can throw out an herb, but that's not truly how a herbalist that is able to help people and help people to see sickness disappear works. That's called working from an allopathic standpoint. That's allopathic means, okay, everybody, raspberry leaf is an herb that everybody talks about, is great for womb care and womb health and fertility. So everybody will give out raspberry leaf if they're doing any work for somebody that needs some help with their womb. But that's probably not all that you may need. And that may not be the best herb if you are also dealing with really bad dehydration and really bad inflammation due to, hypertension, or cholesterol problems. There's other herbs and other blends of herbs that we would put together based on your entire health record and body makeup. So that's why I don't drop supplements and herbs, because that would be allopathic, and I'm a holistic herbalist. I want to know, and I have a questionnaire for people who book me for consultations, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do, Keisha, or anybody else. Book me for an herbal consultation at operationfibroidfreedom.com. The link is in the bio. Because I would have a questionnaire for you where we could look at everything you're going through. And that's when we talk about the best herbs to help you shrink fibroids, because we have to address those lifestyle changes that caused you to grow fibroids. Somebody else may be starved for love and not having enough, sex. Someone else could be having entirely too much sex and could have some blockages in the womb due to trauma from sex. That person's herbs to shrink fibroids are going to look completely different than somebody else who may have fibroids because they have thyroid issues. Does that make sense? Got you. Understand. Okay, goddess. Wonderful. Thank you. That was a wonderful question, by the way. I was going to go into that. But you got to know, everybody that's on my YouTube family, my Instagram family, that you are more than the physical you. And that's actually a big clue to that, is the fact that you were able to manifest physical growths in your creative space in your womb and not even know you were doing it. So that's showing you that your creative power is working. Your subconscious mind, which never goes to sleep, is always manifesting, whether you are conscious of it and want to give that attention or not, which is a good indicator that that's why fibroids are growing, because we have not addressed some of the stuff that we're allowing to go unchecked in our subconscious mind and also our conscious mind. We're not being in alignment. We're not living our truth, That's what I want to highlight. We have to look at ourselves as opposed to the everyday, right? We have to look at frequency and vibration. Frequency and vibration is really the underlying communication of the universe that we are in, right? If our frequency is lower, we're going to be sick in some way. It may not be fibroids, right? If it's a man or somebody that does not have a womb and their frequency is low, that could look like, depression, suicidal. That could look like colds, a tendency to always catch the flu, that kind of thing. If your frequency is high, you're not even going to be in the same or on the radar of people that are suffering from low frequency and not really having a mindset that is calibrated to operate in terms of frequency. Does that make sense? Right? When you start thinking about yourself in terms of being multidimensional, having chakras, not just a womb, but then there's also chakras. There's the crown chakra, there's your third eye chakra. We've got our throat chakra. I've got my heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, sacral chakra, root chakra. I think that was all of them. Let me know if I left one out. But we can at any time neglect one of these chakras, or something can come along and happen to us in our lives, or we see something that brings our spirit down. And any one of these chakras at any time can be affected in a negative way and cause disharmony. Like when you hit the wrong note in a song and it's like, ugh, that lady hit that note and it sounded like garbage. That's what can happen with our rhythm. Our rhythm can get off and we can get thrown off. And that's when things can creep in and grow and fester and start to turn into physical formations in our wombs. So know that you have to be able to pivot, which is something I talk about a lot in private coaching, is the pivot from looking at yourself in the, hey, everyday lens. I'm Cecily. One day I'm going to be here talking to you about making smoothies. The next day I may be here talking to you about, herbs. But then in the next sentence, when we talk about being serious about shrinking fibroids, we got to start talking about our energy, ourselves as energetic beings, right? Knowing and feeling when something has caused our energy to lower or caused our energy to be chaotic, caused our energy to feel like somebody's sucking our energy off, draining our energy. These are where you have to get comfortable, this area that I'm talking about, get comfortable with recognizing yourself energetically before anything. And then you can move with more sophistication in terms of what is in alignment for you. And that goes for the physical, that goes for your diet, that goes for, if you get your energy attuned and get in alignment with yourself energetically, you can know when things are not for you on a deep level, right? And that's what I mean, like when I say something can be happening to everybody on your block, but it won't happen to you because your frequency is high. And it's almost like you're invisible to whatever diabolical thing, frequency, bad thing the media is talking about taking place. You may go to this is a great example. When you are, I don't know if you've ever done anything where you've tested out working on manifestation. You should do this though, by the way. And you're going to the grocery store. If you drive and you drive to the grocery store, because I used to live in New York and I didn't have a car then. I had to leave my car in Atlanta. And when I would go to the grocery store, it was a struggle. I wasn't driving. I would have to take my little cart, but that's a long story. But if you live anywhere where you have to drive and find a parking space and you want that front parking space, envision yourself pulling up into the front parking space before you get to the store. Do it. If it doesn't happen the first time, give it another try. Keep trying. Eventually, you're going to get the front parking space. It's like you can change what happens to you by changing what's going on up here. There, I'm in the foreground. So along with your plant-based eating, along with your herbs, along with your liver support, which is something that I do recommend, Keisha Blaze It Up. I can tell you that just from a general standpoint, you said herbs to shrink fibroids. You got to start with anything you do with supporting and nourishing your liver. But there's a more sophisticated way to do that, that'll be fuller in alignment with you by addressing everything going on with your health situation. So that's kind of what we do, and we actually go deeper when you book a consultation. But when you start moving like that, that's when you start to reshape reality. That's why my platform is called Operation Fibroid Freedom, because I said if the Most High showed me, helped me realize and achieve and conquer the mountain that was uterine fibroids that I was suffering with, I will create a company called Operation Fibroid Freedom, because I was able to achieve freedom from fibroids through no operation at all. Okay? Freedom from fibroids through no operation at all. So when you start doing that, and that's part of your lifestyle, right? That means you've given up those things that you identified that you've been doing to feed fibroids, the things you've been eating that you know feed fibroids, the Cheetos, the hot Cheetos, the Popeyes chicken sandwiches, what else? McDonald's, anything? I don't know why anybody eats McDonald's. Any fast food? What else do people love that I know? Oh, tilapia. Why are people still eating tilapia? People be eating tilapia, and y'all, do y'all know what tilapia has in it? And I'm not judging, because, you know, I'm a work in progress. I'm obviously have things that I ate that feed fibroids, and I still have to stay on my game. I still have to watch things that I eat and that I consume that will lead to fibroid growth. Tilapia has carbon monoxide in the flesh of that fish. It's called dioxin. That's also something that can be called or described as an endocrine disruptor, right? Which just means it's something, an agent that we can be taking into our bodies, into our temples, that can disrupt and throw off our endocrine system. But it's got carbon monoxide. And you know, if you can get carbon monoxide poisoning through the vents, and people have died, whole households of people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning in the house. You're going to eat pescatarian to shrink fibroids, know that there is a way to do that. And that does not mean you should just be eating any fish, and God forbid any shellfish. Shellfish is a bottom feeder and the filter of the ocean, so you should never be eating shellfish at all. Shellfish is like eating dirt and trash. But if you're going to eat fish, you've got to make sure you're eating wild-caught, organic fish that's not farm-raised. You know, some salmon, a lot of salmon, which is one of my favorite fish. I almost said fishes. If it's farm-raised, you know, it could be fed other fish. It could be fed feces, which is really gross, which is what a lot of tilapia farms. But tilapia, I think, is primarily farm-raised anyway. But another big thing you're going to want to look out for with fish in pescatarianism is heavy metals, because a lot of fish are riddled and laced with radioactive material that has been floating in the ocean from the nuclear reactors that have exploded and poured into the ocean and the waters and the seas, as well as heavy metals like mercury in the fish. So that's just a side note. If you're going to eat fish, no shellfish. Make sure that it is not a fish that has heavy metals, like tuna is out. Tuna is usually very high in heavy metals, very toxic, nothing toxic. And when you want to if you want to be sure about that, make sure you're buying wild-caught, organic, non-farm raised fish. And there's not that many that actually fit that category. So, you know, your best bet, though, is to give yourself increments of time. If it's very hard for you to cut out meat and flesh, give yourself time windows. Give yourself increments of time where you will not eat anything but plants. So if 7 days is as much as you can do, 5 days, even 3 days, start there. because your body needs time windows to do the deeper cleansing, right? And for you to inundate your body with living foods, life force energy, to change the molecular structure and the cellular makeup inside of your womb and your body. She Love Joseph. Can I order stuff from your website? If you want to order tea, because I have 2 teas right now available in my Etsy shop. So I'm going to put that on there for you on YouTube. And I do have some other teas because this is the month of shadow work, which is another thing that we're doing in my private membership this month. We're doing a 2-part workshop on shadow work. If you don't know what shadow work is, watch the video that I did last week on YouTube. And you can also go over to Facebook and join my free Facebook group called Womb Hang Clan. And I kind of give you an introduction to what shadow work is. But basically what it kind of is in a nutshell, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Shadow work forces you to give attention to the hidden parts of ourselves, those hidden aspects of ourselves that we don't usually share or present to the outside world, right? The parts of us that we want to tuck away because we may experience a negative emotion if we really have to face those parts of ourselves. For example, I'm pasting this in here for you, She Love Joseph. This is my Etsy. There it is on the screen on YouTube, She Love. You can go check out the teas. Let me know if you have any questions about the Fibroid Cleanse tea bags. They're in the Etsy right now. That's more womb specific. That's a womb cleanse. It's about 2 weeks worth of hand blended, hand stuffed tea bags of my tea blend for uterine fibroid, shrinking uterine fibroids, but it's more centralized as far as what the herbs do with that to energize and help you detox your womb space. The Bifibroids tea, it's going to be a lot larger quantity. It should last you about 6 weeks to 2 months. And that addresses multiple systems in the body, like the lymph system, which is the waste removal, your cellular waste removal, as well as liver detox. Of course, the womb detox, as well as circulatory, on and on. So go over there and check it out and let me know if you have any questions about that. Now, as far as my services for coaching, services for herbal consultations, for personal tea blends, personal herbal products for fibroids and more, you can go to Operation Fibroid Freedom and go to book online, and that'll show you all the services there if you want to actually book a service with me, and like womb Reiki, the energy clearing. But the shadow work is what we're talking about this month. That's the theme. I'm about to put a new blend up that's going to help support the mental part of shadow work. So it will promote relaxation, but also clarity of mind, and a calming to the nervous system so that we can be less defensive and able to effectively access those things that we may be holding on to that may be tucked away in the non-physical aspects of ourselves, causing hormone imbalance and feeding uterine fibroids. So let me know if you're interested in that new tea blend. I'm going to put something on Etsy for that this week. Now, I also have, if you haven't seen a video that I kind of created and put on Instagram, and it's actually on YouTube as well, if you didn't see that, about pads. They have these nanobots, which are these small robot, literally man-made synthetic bots, right? They're called Morgellons. They're in Always Ultra pads. And I put a video of that up, and that was pretty disturbing. I wanted to share it with my audience because a lot of my goddesses are still using publicly traded brands for, our cycles and our sanitary napkins. And I want to emphasize that now is more important than any time to make the switch to a natural product. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to make some suggestions on what type of natural pads they were using. Some brands that were thrown out to me were Rael, R-A-E-L. But I was told that they're kind of hard to find. I'm gonna type them in the chat on YouTube, and if anybody wants me to type them on IG, let me know. But there's also Honey Pot. which I have used a honey pot, but I used one that was, it had some herbs in it. And I'm like, I don't really need the cooling effect on my on my vagina. I didn't need that, but I'm going to go back because I did like the actual dynamic, aerodynamic shaping and the construction of the physical pad, but I think I might have chose the wrong type. And then there's also jewel pads, which somebody has offered me an option to sell the jewel pads. I think they're pretty cool, but they're multi-level marketing. I'll put the keys in the chat on IG. Yep, I'll do that in 1 second. The jewel pads, I'm not going to sell, I don't think, because I'm not into MLM. They're multi-level marketing. So I don't know. If there's not a way where I can't just buy them and stock them for sale, I probably won't sell them, but I'm throwing them out there in case anybody wants to buy them, wants to see them. All right, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to put my Etsy back up in case anybody wants it. Now, you said the teas on Instagram. Now, what I want to say before I lose track, because I have more of the YouTube family on here, I want to say thank you for joining me. Please subscribe for more content on how to shrink fibroids naturally over on YouTube. Definitely make sure you're subscribing and go over to the website and join my mailing list so you can stay up on any workshops that I'm giving or any of my coaching that I will be releasing, because I will be releasing bonus content and bonus discount info on how you can sign up for coaching with me and save some money. Now, as far as those nanobots in the pads, there is a way to protect yourself from the nanobots. It sounds like this weird, like ridiculous topic to say nanobots, but it's like they're small robotic fibers, right? They're in the pads, but they're also being sprayed in the chemtrails, and they are also in masks that we wear. There's a lot of different videos people have been coming up with since this whole topic has been on the radar. I don't want to put the buzzwords out there, but you have to protect yourself. This isn't just something that's happening to the pads. That's why I want to talk about that really quickly. It's something that's been going on and will potentially still go on, and you need to safeguard yourself. So I'm doing, for my private membership, Womb Hang Clan, which I'm inviting you all to sign up for over on OperationFibroidFreedom.com. For any member that's already signed up for Womb Hang Clan or that signs up, y'all are going to get the class for free. But how to detox the nanoparticles and how to protect and safeguard yourself from nanoparticles going forward in the new world that we're finding ourselves in. I'm going to be doing a tutorial, a class inside Womb Hang Clan, my private membership group. So you want to join because I will be giving weekly live streams as well as monthly master classes on more premium content and information that I share. If any of y'all want to know, like you wanted to know about the herbs and that type of thing, the people inside of my membership group, you know, they can ask me things and I will be sharing more detailed information based on what they want to know. So consider doing that and joining me. Go over to OperationFibroidFreedom.com and sign up for my private membership. But this week I'm doing the How to Detox Nanobots on Saturday. Thank you. Thank you. MJ. I never know. Miss Love Your Look, though. I know you, but I just don't know how to pronounce that. And Goddess, it's good to connect with you here. So yeah, so think about that. Think about joining, because in Womb Hang Clan, that's where we can kind of get more detailed into this information and get more detailed into me giving you premium content. And instructions on how to navigate and how to move and be protected in these times, as well as going into the quantum, going into really how to access, harness, take control of your womb power, womb energy to manifest the outcome you want, manifest a fibroid-free womb, and manifest the life you want, right? That's what we're going to be doing in Womb Hang Clan. Michelle. Okay, thank you, Goddess. That's right. Peace to my girl, Michelle, my goddess. Now, Mel Bell, you said put the T's in the chat. What I can do is you know what you can do is you can go to Etsy, and I'm going to put my shop name. Let's see. It's Plant Force Field, all one word on Etsy. if you go to that shop on Etsy, that's my store, right? Mel Bell. And you can go get the Fibroid Cleanse tea bags that I already mentioned that are more focused on a 2-week womb cleanse. Or you can get the more intense multi-system detox, which is the Bifibroids tea, right? So I'm going to put or Bifibroids here. Now, the thing about these herbs, you already heard me mention. You can also just go to my bio, Mel Bell, and you should see a link, a line in the bio that says shop Fibroid Freedom. If you click that, it should take you directly to the Etsy. But keep in mind now, goddesses, these herbs can get deeper and more specific to you, and more really attuned to you, your womb situation, your past womb situation, your womb lineage, your future. It's not just like, it doesn't stop with these 2 products that I have. So you can do that if that's all you want. That's the level of, connection you want with Operation Fibroid Freedom and me. Then go on ahead and get the one of those products, right? I'll get it in the mail to you, and they work really well. I've got some great reviews on those. But remember and just know that you can always go deeper on these topics. So you can also book an herbal consultation on the website, and we can talk about who you really are, your past, what's going on with you now, any situations in your health record with your body holistically, and things can be organized more specific and tailored to you organically that will be a lot more specific to why you have fibroids and helping you shrink them as well as preventing them from returning. Because this topic is multi-layered, right? It's not just liver detox. It's not just eating plants, So herbs can address the physical parts. Herbs can address the liver, but herbs can also address blockages energetically. Herbs can also address where we came from, who we are ethnically. We can talk about herbs in much deeper levels. And if you're interested in doing that with me, and if you're in Womb Hang Clan, that's what we're going to be doing. But herbs are deeper than what we've been led to believe. Just take this herb and everything is going to be good. Or take this herb to get rid of this. It's way deeper than that. Herbs are living. Herbs are their own little system, their own microcosm of communication. And they've been made and designed for us to consume for our bodies. And then there's some that are made, a combination of those that are specifically for you. So that's when we can really, I just want to throw that out there because it's a beautiful topic when we start talking about herbs. I'm an herbalist. That's part of one of the things that makes me really excited. But I will be giving more herbal insight and knowledge into Womb Hang Clan, and I am thinking about rolling out a pure herbalism lesson, tutorial level of coaching in the future. Right now, it's fibroid specific. And by the way, I also coach women who are looking to learn how to coach other women on how to shrink fibroids naturally. So if you are somebody who is looking to expand your business and also contribute into the community, with natural womb wellness, natural fibroid elimination, with other women, reach out to me because I have recently created a practitioner certification where I am coaching women. You don't even have to have experienced fibroids, but you want to learn the knowledge, learn my systems, and be able to offer this as a business to help other women heal their wounds and shrink fibroids. You can sign up for certification with my platform as well. But I hope this was informative for y'all. I want to send y'all lots of love and just remind you to draw closer to nature in times that we are in right now. I will always say that when things seem like they're the most chaotic right now, they're talking about the gas is running out and all this kind of stuff. You're quite welcome, A Inspires 2020. Thank you for being here, Goddess. That's an illusion, right? gas is a natural resource, right? It's from the earth. You know that it's not really no scarcity of gas. It's just the regime and powers that are in control of this export of this resource from the earth, from Mama Nature. You know, they are wanting to paint that there's a scarcity. But you don't have to be moved just because we are being told to believe in some narrative. You can always control and keep your narrative on a high frequency. And that's what I wanted to really illustrate with you today. Now, I thought I was going to talk about some other stuff, but I think I'm going to have to come back because I actually need to go get on another call. But y'all get at me for tailored, serious fibroid help. If you really want to know from somebody, the real, who's actually got rid of fibroids naturally, because I was talking to a goddess that's in one of my private groups, and she said she realized about me, and one thing that she likes about me is that I actually have gotten rid of fibroids, and I'm not here just creating dialogue around a fibroid lifestyle with the topic of fibroids in general. No, anything you hear from me will not be to just keep the conversation going about the topic of fibroids. I have experienced fibroids and also conquered fibroids, got rid of them naturally. And no, I did not have surgery. And I realized that I'll have to keep saying that because people don't all know me, you know. Everybody doesn't already know me that comes on these streams, so they may think I've had surgery, but I got rid of fibroids naturally using tools from nature, herbs and supplements, changing my mindset, realizing more deeply who I really am, being in authenticity and living my truth, keeping it real with myself. And I can help you identify these same areas and how they apply to you in a deeper level of exchange. So that could be private coaching. It could be a 1-hour consultation. It could be womb Reiki. You could host me in your city for a live event. You can sign up for, you know, any of my services, and I can help you really hone in on how to get rid of fibroids, because that's I've been through the woods and I'm out and I got rid of them. So that's the difference between me and other people that you may see on social media that are talking about this topic. Not a lot of them, I'm told, have gotten rid of fibroids. I will continue the other part of this talk probably maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I got a couple of fibroid appointments tomorrow, but there's more that I want to encourage us to keep our antenna in alignment with what's going on from a natural perspective, with what trends we're noticing in nature, right? So I'm going to talk to y'all about some of those trends. So look out for me tomorrow. I will post like I did today in advance. If tomorrow I am going to come back live, if not, it will be Friday. But I want to send you peace. I want to send you love. I'm sending you, I'm sending you peace. I'm sending you love, and I'm sending you fibroid release. All right. I will talk to y'all soon on Instagram. So let me do that. And let's download and let's share. And then on YouTube, y'all know where to find me. Y'all think about what we talked about here today. And if you want to go deeper and harness your womb power, join Womb Hang Clan. Go to operationfibroidfreedom.com and join us in the private membership group. Peace and love.